Hello everyone, welcome to another new video on Book Tales by Pritha. I'm back after a gap, and this video is a book haul video which I realized that the last book haul video I had made about 4 months back. So it has been quite some time that I have not made a new book haul video, and lots of books I have bought for myself in all this 4-5 months. So without further ado, let's begin today's video. As there are about 15-16 books and most of them belong to the fiction category, so I thought that let's begin with the non-fiction books first. So these are the 2 books in non-fiction that I bought, and also in today's video, most of the books, since I bought it for about in the last 4 months, so I have completed reading some of them as well, about which also I will tell you in the video. So the first book that I bought is Manifest: 7 Steps to Living Your Best Life. Currently I am reading this book, and this book is again a bestseller which I saw in Libro review as well as from her channel. I even saw it on Book Dragon's channel, and this book, as by the name you can understand, it talks about the process of manifestation. Why should you manifest? What are the things you should do when you start practicing manifestation? How does manifestation help you as an individual? The author predominantly talks about her personal experiences in this particular book, and through that she has told in 7 different steps how can you manifest in your life as an individual. Currently I am reading this book and I have already completed 5 steps to living your best life, and I think I am only about 20-25 pages left in this book, and it's indeed a good book. I will talk about this book in details in some of my later videos. I bought another very popular bestseller which I had not read, and the book in question is The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. I have already finished reading most of this book, and I think after reading this book, manifestation is the next book that you should read, because some way or the other, if you read this book first and then you read that book, you will feel that many things mentioned in this book is also mentioned in that book, but this book is like your stepping stone, and then later on you can read that book. This book mainly talks about how when you want to achieve something in your life, when you have a certain goal in your life, what are the things that you should do to achieve them, and when you are working towards that particular goal wholeheartedly, how you can actually achieve them, and how thoughts influence most of your well-being. If you have good thoughts, if you are surrounded with people who think good about you, how it can affect your process of well-being and thought process, and vice versa. So that is the reason when I was reading this book, if you read non-fiction, I would definitely tell you that after reading this book, do read that manifest book, because you will find many similarities between the 2 books. Now let me go to the fiction set of books, and there are a lot. First I will talk about 2 books that are collection of short stories. Both are by Indian authors, and also I'm reading those 2 books now, and I'm enjoying the process. The books are Wari, a collection of Manipuri short stories. This book mainly talks about different folklore that is associated with Manipuri culture, and each folklore and the theme of each short story is interconnected. There are about 7 short stories in this book. language is extremely easy. The stories are hardly 15-20 pages each. This book is for beginner level reader, but what I am enjoying is the learnings that each of the story gives you once the story ends, and how the author has wonderfully talked about a folklore present in Manipuri culture, and how the author has connected the short story and the folklore. The next book that I will talk is again a very popular book, and this is Jim Corbett's book, The Temple Tiger and More, Man-Eaters of Kumanun. Now, I had heard lots and lots about this particular book in the channel Read Travel Become, and I was tempted to buy this book. I have seen omnibus which talks about Jim Corbett story collection and other books as well, but I saw this book very talked about and a popular book, and even the Amazon reviews of this particular book was amazing. I had never read Jim Corbett books like this about wildlife, etc., and so I thought, I was getting a good deal during the Great Indian Festival, and so I grabbed a copy, and I was eyeing this book for a very long time. I just started reading this book yesterday, and the first story I have read about 15 odd pages. The story is about 27 pages long. It talks about different expedition of Jim Corbett, and how the different villagers, their mindsets are very well written in this particular book. This book is descriptive, but the language is very normal. Don't expect extraordinary English language while reading this book, but when you are reading the book, the stories are very exciting to read. That's what I found, and once I started reading, after a few pages, I saw that I was engrossed in reading the stories. So let me complete this book, and if I find it interesting, there are 2 more books in this particular collection. If I like this particular collection, then definitely I will grab a copy of those 2 books as well. Next, I will talk about some thriller books that I recently got. So the first book that I got is by Dolly Elderton. The book in question is Ghost. What excited me about this book was first the title, second the cover of the book, and third the blurb. Now, I have not started reading this book yet, but as the blurb suggests that if you want to know, I will read it. Everything gets easier in your 30s, right? Though she has plenty to celebrate, successful career as a food writer, new home, loving friends and family for Nina Dean in her 30s have not exactly been the liberating, uncomplicated experiences she was sold. From folding friendship to excess, popping the question, everyone is moving on, and as her dad slowly loses his memories, her mom seems dead, set on making new ones. Then she meets Max, who tells her on date that he is the one going to marry her. But what seems like an exciting new development will ensure this year Nina's strangest yet. A fascinating perspective look at what it seems to be a 30-something woman right here, right now. Sharply observed, sometimes tender, sometimes stirred, Ghost will resonate with so many. Stuffed full of insights and adroit observation, a masterpiece of modern manner. I was somewhere reading about this particular book, and it talks, I have not very sure, as I have not read the book yet, but it talks about the ill effect of social media in the life of somebody who is in her 30s. I found the synopsis very fascinating and contemporary, and that is why I was getting this book at a good deal, and so I grabbed a copy of it. The next book that I will talk is again a collection of short stories. This is 17 Turbulent Tales, Flight or Fright by Stephen King and Bev Vincent. Again, this book I saw it on the channel of Book Dragon. Again, this talks about 17 experiences of people in flight, mostly about experiences of people who are afraid of flight. There are some, as you can understand, I have Stephen King's book. I have The Shining in my collection for a very, very long time. I have not touched it yet, but I thought, let me begin reading Stephen King by reading his collection of short stories first, and then gradually I will read full-fledged stories. Let me tell you about the blurb of this particular book, as I have not read it, so I have to tell you through the blurb. Featuring brand new stories from Stephen King and Joe Hill, and classic white knuckle rides from the likes of Richard Matheson, Ray Bradbury, Roald Dahl, Flight or Fright is, as King says, idle aeroplane reading, especially on stormy descents. With fascinating story, notes on each turbulent train from the #1 best-selling writer Stephen King, this collection will have you thinking twice about you want to reach your final destination. It is time to board. So don't you find the blurb interesting? So I have never boarded a flight till in my life. I am going to reach my 40 in the next 2 years. But let me read this book and let me see how is it. And I hope to complete this book soon, and then I will talk in depth about this particular book. The next book, again a very, very popular book. I don't know whether in my previous video I have told about this book. So that is the reason I might be repeating, I'm not sure. The book is again a very popular book. The Mysterious Affairs at Style by Agatha Christie. This is the first book by Agatha Christie, but I got this book from Flipkart. I was getting the book at a dirt cheap price, but after I received the book, I did not like the font and feel. This might sound very stupid, but you know, Agatha Christie books have got specific texture, how the writings are given, but this is by some Indian publication and it lacks that. So I will read it definitely, but it is lacking that Agatha Christie feel. The book of Agatha Christie that gives the feel, this book is lacking. But again, this book has got an interesting cover. So I hope to finish this book by this year itself, and then I'll talk in details about this book. I do plan to make a video completely dedicated on some of the popular work by Agatha Christie. I'll do it in the near future, and for that I'm reading this particular book. The last book is The American Boyfriend by Ivy Ingioff. This is the book. This book got published recently. Libro Review was talking a lot about this particular book, and so I grabbed a copy of it. I have read about 2-3 chapters of this book already, but till now I did not find the book very interesting or the writing very interesting. It's still, the pace of the story is still slow and something that is very familiar with. We have come across this kind of plots in movies or books previously. So let me read a little more of this book, and then I would be in a position to talk in depth about this particular book. Now I will talk about some fiction books mostly by Indian authors. The first book is, I have already finished reading this book. I bought this book last month. It was a very, very small book. I finished it in 2 sittings. This book is by Koral Das Gupta. It is from the Sati series, and the book in question is Kunti. Now, this book does not say anything specific or anything new about the life of Kunti. But what I liked about this book is the way this author has mastered the art of storytelling and the excellent use of English language and literature, and thirdly, the beautiful book cover. Many of the people, the bookstagrammers, have collected the entire Sati series. I think there are till now 4 or 5 books which have already been published, and I was reading this book. This is the first one that I read. There is Ahalya, there is Draupadi, there is Mandodari, and one more in this collection which are already published. If you like reading books with good writing by Indian author, then definitely you can grab a copy of this particular book by Koral Das Gupta. The next book that I will talk is The Great Unknown by Shankar. This book is from Penguin Publication. Now, I have already read Shankar's work, Chourangi. I have seen the movie as well. It's a very, very popular Bengali film that has already been remade a couple of years back. And it talks about a particular hotel, the life of different guests who are coming in the hotel, and the different staff members of the hotel. Now, Shankar is a very, very popular writer of 50s and 60s. This is his another work, The Great Unknown. I found the blurb where I was checking some other book by Shankar on Amazon when my eyeball grabbed attention of this particular book because I like the blurb. It says 1950s Calcutta. 17-year-old Shankar becomes a clerk to last English barrister in Calcutta High Court and thus begins his unusual and unforgettable relationship. The Great Unknown is the moving story of many people Shankar meets in the courtroom and lawyer's chamber of Old Post Office Street. Some seeking justice, others watching the drama of life unfold. It offers an uniquely personal glimpse into their world of unfulfilled dreams and unexpected tragedies, as well as hope and exhilaration. This book is again translated from Bengali. So let me finish the book and then I will talk about this book. Okay, the next book is by a very, very popular Indian author. I'm sorry, I have watched his work on television when I was small, but I still haven't read any of his work. I'm sorry to say that. The book is R.K. Narayan's The Bachelor of Arts. Everybody has heard about Malguri Days, one of the most popular work by R.K. Narayan. I have heard that the Devanand's popular film Guide is also inspired from one of the work by R.K. Narayan. I was yet to read any of his work. I got a good deal on Flipkart of this particular book, The Bachelor of Arts, and so I grabbed a copy of this one. The next book is again a book. In future I plan to make a video on books from different countries. So I have never read any book by any Nepali writer, and so when I saw a particular booktuber, Pooja, was talking about this particular book, I collected the information about the book which I liked, and so I grabbed a copy. Now the book in question is The Tutor of History by Manjushri Thapa. This talk about Nepal and the people living in Nepal, what had happened in the late 90s in Nepal after the constitutional democracy in Nepal had collapsed. Now I will not talk more about the book. The book is very, very thick. It will take me some time to finish the book. Let me finish the book and then only I will be in a position to talk in depth about this book. The next book, I have already finished reading the book. I bought this book about 2 months back. The book in question is The Book of Everlasting Things by Anchal Malhotra. I am going to make a full-fledged review of this particular book. Reading this book is an experience in itself. It's an amazing story about a perfumer. Those who follow me on my Instagram handle BookTalesBy Pritha, or those of you who follow me on my WhatsApp group by the name BookTalesBy Pritha, or you are on my WhatsApp status, I have given a small feedback about this book. I will make a full-fledged book review on this particular book, which will be uploaded soon, and I will talk in depth about this book. It's an amazing book. That's the only thing that I'll say in this particular video. Another book by an Indian author that I would like to mention is Kinsui by Anukriti Upadhyay. Now, Anukriti Upadhyay happens to be one of my favorite Indian female author. I really liked her book Boundary, which I had read about 2 years back, which talks about Rajasthani folklore, which I found very, very interesting. While going through Amazon, I got to view this another book named Kinsui. Now, what is Kinsui? Kinsui is a Rajasthani way of mending things with gold through different processes. Now, this particular book has got 4 short stories about different women from different countries, different strata of life, and how each of the 4 women are interconnected, and how motivating and inspiring this particular tale is. It is like one story connected through 4 different women, how their lives get interconnected. This is a very nice perspective on women living in different parts of the world, and how the author has very nicely talked about the thought process, the lives of these different women. Again, I have finished reading this book, and if you are looking out for a tale about women living in contemporary India predominantly, then you can grab a copy of this book. Again, I have nothing to say about the wonderful writing skill of the author Anukriti Upadhyay. She writes very well. She is a very good storyteller, and her works are something that as a reader will affect you in some way or the other. So this is another book that I had collected recently, and I have already completed reading, and so I thought to mention this book also in this particular video. The last book that I will talk is a book called Cheka, The Road of Bones by Joydeep Mukherjee. Now, this is the book I was doing the PR for my own business, and this particular person, Joydeep Mukherjee, is the advocate of Supreme Court of India. Cheka, The Road of Bones talks about the mysterious disappearance of Netaji and what had happened after that. There are various theories that talks about the mysterious disappearance of Netaji, and in this particular book, the author, who is a lawyer, who says that all the information that he has given in this particular book, as he is a lawyer, is backed by evidences. So what is Cheka and how Cheka is related with Netaji? To find out, you got to read this amazing book. Since I personally have done the PR publicity of this book, then I am not in a position to say that whether this book is a good or bad book, as I am the publicist of this particular book. But if you are interested about Netaji, and if you want to know what had happened after his mysterious disappearance, whether he had died in the plane crash or not, or what this particular person, Mr. Joydeep Mukherjee, talks and which he says is completely backed with evidences, to find out, you must read this particular book, Cheka. This book got released in September 2023. So these were all the books that I had bought in the last 3-4 months, and these books I have finished reading some of the books, and these books have kept me busy over the last few months apart from my work, because during the festive season definitely we are too busy with our own jobs, and that is the reason I could not come up with new videos. But as I have read couple of books in all this 3-4 months, so I am planning and making videos only for you people to let you know about my experiences and my feedback about particular book, to help you select your next book for your reading journey. I hope you are enjoying this festive season just like me, and till then, tata, bye bye, and have a great festive time with your friends and family, and I will see you soon in another video very soon. Have a great day ahead.